Hello. This is quite an amazing image in several respects. One respect is that the lighting is so nice. That's an Arnold thing in combination with a pre-light set with 3 light sources basically, which you can download for free at 32-bit Studios. I put the link in the description and I made a tutorial about this excellent and very easy to use light setting for interior lighting here. So 3 lights are working in this scene. And the other thing, of course, is the hair. And the hair, the special thing about the hair is that I made a hair transplant. It comes from the right. This is the original hair. It comes from an example in nHair, in the nHair system. And I transplanted this hair onto that 3/4 torus. And I want to show you how you do this because it's a very basic thing. When you start with nHair and plant it on the torus, you always get a little bit of a frustration. So transplanting prefab hair is always good, and then you can tune it and change the length, etc. Okay, we start with a new scene and we go to FX because it's a special effects thing now. The whole N world here, N particles, N cloth, N hair, N constraints, and N cache are all in the same dynamic system. So when we want to grow hair on cloth, it's fine, totally. They will follow the same gravity rules and dynamics. They collide with the same objects, etc. So that's quite easy compared to earlier days. So what we're going to do now is we create that sort of torus, and I chose a NURBS torus. You can use a polygon torus as well. You don't have to use a torus at all, just a cylinder or whatever. So torus is here. And I move it a little bit to the front because our example will land in the center of the scene now. Okay, let's create an nHair example. Get hair example. It's right here, no option box because a window will open with the examples you have. I guess you can have more examples if several websites probably offer more examples than these, but they're a good starting point. I use that one. I guess it's called Tsubuichi. Middle mouse, drag it into the scene and close the window. So this is the hair system here. And when you run the simulation, it's a simulation, not an animation, you see that the hair is almost relaxed. It just moves a little bit in like the wind. And when you render it, it looks as natural as you've seen it before. Okay, we want to transplant the hair to that torus. And it couldn't be easier. You select the hair and the torus, and then you go to nHair. And down here you have transplant hair. We don't need the option box, we just transplant it. We get an error message down here, but we can ignore it because when we go back to the first animation frame here, we see the transplantation has happened already. So the hair kind of, it's a very, very solid hair. It looks like it doesn't like fall or float down. So that's what we just achieved. This is not very elegant because we wanted the hair really to cover the torus much more, and that's because the torus is far away from your origin, so the transplantation has to use a big distance, plus the original surface is much bigger than the torus. So let's undo this by pressing Z a couple of times. So let's scale the torus up. Actually, what I did, just out of fun, I opened it a little bit. And I'm going to move it here. Does it have about the same size? Well, not yet. I'll make it a little bit bigger, like this. Okay, if you want the hair to be transplanted to a special part of that software, you need to adjust the position. So let's do the same thing as before. we select the hair, we select the target surface, we go to nHair, and we transplant the hair. And now we can move the torus away, and when we go back to 0, we have the hair growing here. I think we have to define the torus as a collision object, but we won't do this. We're just satisfied with the transplantation, and this is how your starting point for the transplantation works. So let's undo this again and delete the torus and create a cone and move the cone up and scale it up a little bit like this. And now let's do the transplantation from the hair example to that cone. nHair, transplant hair. So we can move the cone away now, and it carries the nice hair structure of the example. So this is how the transplantation of hair basically works. I think it's quite simple and highly effective. If you want to grow new hair on it, just go to nHair and create hair. Then you have this, what I told you, which is kind of frustrating because you have to fix so many things here because it's always that kind of brownish hair, which is quite all right. Now, 32-bit Studio's lighting, once you've downloaded it from their site, you import it, and the default lighting is that's the first one here in this whole section. Quite nice, really. Well, let's just render it. The transplanted hair. Plus some new hair. So I wish you a nice day, and don't forget to comb your hair today. Bye.